Do you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. This is Justin. I'm jersey number 14.
And I'm Corey, jersey number 72. Welcome to a special edition of the Gear Freaks podcast. There is a lot of territory that we take in here on the Gear Freaks pod. We've learned about a lot of new stuff, the CFL, the WNBA. But since we're both wrestling guys, they've got gear in wrestling too. We're going to the squared circle today.
And ladies and gentlemen, we aren't going to just sit here and talk about wrestling gear by ourselves. It's not just going to be me and Corey shooting the S, as it were, trying to watch my language. Privileged to be joined by, we'll start with former professional wrestler. He's a father. He's a loving man. He's a husband. He is a podcaster himself. Check out Honder's podcast. He is everything in the world to me because I love him dearly. He is my friend, shoot name redacted, Zak Hilton. Oh. You don't have to. It's just Corey and I like kind of sort of maybe flirting around with the idea of trying to get the show on the radio.
Yeah.
So you don't have to at all. We're just trying to so we can be in the practice of it.
Yeah, we're trying to mind our P's and Q's. You can be as offensive as you'd like. You can't make it.
Oh, man. And your boy already fucked everything up. Hold on just 1 second. Let me, God. Oh, my God.
There was one that was close there.
No, it's fine.
What is happening?
So I forgot to arm your track. So all this
okay.
happened. It's staying. It's staying. But you do have to kind of pick up and I've already introduced you, so now the world kind of needs to actually hear you since I F that up.
Good job, Justin. Hi, I'm Zach, and I'm not going to curse because I want these boys to make it on the radio now.
Unreal. I mean, look, you were there in my early days. I mean, we went through some headaches in podcasting. So like this, to be able to catch it this early, this is nothing after what we've been through.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. You know how many sleepless nights I've had because of soundboards and such?
Oh God, we lost an entire evening once, like a 3-hour, like beautiful recording of just amazing
like
bits.
Telethon.
And it was gone. Like we went to listen to the audio. It was just fried.
Oh.
And we did what we could
Right.
and lost weeks upon weeks of sleep trying to correct the audio.
Right.
And whew. Let's not go
good
back.
times.
Yeah,
not good times. But that's why we're here, baby.
Yes, the Gear Freaks.
Fix things very quickly.
So first things first, how is Haunters going? Haunters podcast?
I mean, we're doing great. We're in the middle of haunt season, near the tail end of it. But like, I've been to so many cool ass haunts these past couple of months that like it blows my mind how good Virginia is at haunts right now. Because like a year ago, if you would ask me, 1, maybe 2, but like in a year that Halloween was supposed to be canceled and all these haunts pulled it out of their A's, good for these guys. But yeah, we're doing good. Next year, we plan on doing some traveling. We are sponsored by Shudder, the streaming service. So if you don't have Shudder, go to Shudder.com, put in that promo code HauntersPod, all lowercase, and you'll get 30 days free. Boom.
Look
there
at
you
that.
go.
Boom. Look at that. So the reason we're here, obviously, Gear Freaks, is we talk about gear. And, you know, we don't like to limit it to just your team sports.
Right.
But as a professional wrestler, Zach, so I'm going to take you back. We're gonna go pre Zak Hilton for a second. We're gonna talk about Mr. Integrity for a moment because well we have to, right? Because that's kind of where it starts. Because Mr. Integrity is kind of where Zak Hilton begins. Like, I remember the gear being somewhat similar to what Zak Hilton's gear ended up being. So walk us through, like, when you're putting together Mr. Integrity, what were you looking for when you're putting his gear together?
Well, I was getting like right out of like, well, not right out of, I was still in the middle of training or whatever. So I was still trying to figure out my stuff. But I knew ultimately I wanted to be a yuppie. I wanted to be, like one of those Bravo shows kind of deal. Like I basically, what Southern Charm is, I'm them in wrestling. So like I wanted my stuff because I was going to be a dirtbag. I wanted it to look clean. So my first set of gear was white long pants, and I was a big fan of Christian at the time, still am. But I really liked when he had just white, gold, and black on. I was like, oh, I want to take that. I didn't have the gold and black, but it was just straight up white, and I would wear a white polo, collar up, obviously, and I would have a tennis headband, and I would come out with 2 Bluetooth earpieces because so many calls.
So many calls.
I had a regular phone and a burner phone. Don't ask about it. But yeah, that's what came out. I mean, at one point there was talk about like a tennis racket, but I felt like that was just too much and too Jim Cornette-y.
Yeah, it's too Cornette.
Yeah.
But that was basically the Mr. Integrity's first look. And then after that, that's when Zak Hilton was created, and I kind of did a melding of both of those once that happened.
Yeah, so walk me through Zak Hilton. So for the uninitiated, Zak Hilton is a relative of Paris Hilton, no?
Yes. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. He is cousins with Paris Hilton, and he just likes to party. He was the party boy at one point.
Oh, God. The party boy.
The party boy, Zak Hilton.
Just saying, but, somebody got that wrong, and it wasn't me and Fredo.
No, it wasn't. Surprisingly, not Fredo. We'll say that. But Zak Hilton was very neon, like his colors were going to be very bright. And that's when pink came into play because weirdly enough, like pink was still like in, what was this, like 2009? Still kind of taboo for dudes to wear. Now, you see it everywhere. I mean, even Ric Flair, he really sports the dress shirts versions. But like, no one besides Bret Hart would really wear that as ring gear for dudes. So when pink and black got brought into the equation, it was almost wild how much stuff I could find, because the way my first pants were, they were like bell bottomy, but they were leather or pleather or whatever. Leather because I'm rich, pleather because I'm poor. You know what I'm saying? But there was also like this cool like black holographic look on the side and the front that went down the side of the pants, and then like almost they look like pockets on the front and the back. And I just thought they were so cool, but I found them immediately on eBay. Like I just searched wrestling gear. Yeah, I just searched wrestling gear, wrestling tights, wrestling pants, whatever. And that came up, and I was like, I have to buy these. They came from a wrestling store in Australia. So I was blown away. So I bought those and fell in love with them. And then just because I saw them up there, there was a blue version. So instead of pink, it was a royal blue, and then a silver stripe and pockets instead of black. And like that one was when I was still wrestling as Mr. Integrity. Weirdly, I didn't want to intermingle both characters. So Mr. Integrity would wear the blue, which, seems kind of regal anyways. And then Zak Hilton would wear the pink and black.
And it is funny because you mentioned Bret Hart. Like not to say that you don't appreciate or know Bret Hart, but you're not a Bret Hart guy. You're more of like you mentioned Christian, you're more of a rock guy. Like you don't want that guy who just goes out there and works. You want the Flash, the entertainer that can also work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's where my shtick was more so in the ring, because I do respect the wrestling, and I loved wrestling wrestlers, like, because I could really flip flop for them and like sell their stuff, look like a real crap head. But yeah, Bret Hart did come into mind when I got it. I was like, I don't want to be, I don't want someone to be like, oh, you're just a Bret Hart ripoff. But obviously, when you saw me come to the ring, I was nothing like Bret Hart. I was almost like another Zach.
Yes, almost. Almost. One would say that another Zach may have stolen your stuff, but I don't know. I don't know.
I can't afford a lawyer right now. You know what
I mean? So, I mean, eventually, as Zak Hilton, you tag up with Jeff Early, and you guys become the A1 tag team. And the coordination there was the coordinate, because again, as characters, Zak Hilton and Jeff Early are pretty much polar opposites. But do you guys approach that tag team with the we got to look like a team in mind, or like how do you guys both agree on pink and black, I guess is what I'm getting at.
So when we both were in Fusion Wrestling, I was there to put other people over. And that's how my first 6 months was in that company, which worked for me because I was new. I mean, I really just wanted to get in the ring and learn from other guys. So I had the pink and black established. Jeff was just starting to go on his own, but Jeff had blue. I feel like blue was his dominant color whenever he wrestled. So when I was in Fusion for the first 6 months, I'm wearing pink and black. So that's how people knew me. And then the first time we tagged, he wore his color, I wore my pink and black. But then he realized, he was like, oh, you got blue and silver. I got a pair of blue. Let's do that. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. And then I wore that in the ring once, and immediately behind the scenes, whatever, I'm not in it. I can do what I want.
That's right.
So Memphis Mofo, he's the booker of this. And I went out to wrestle, and I don't think he saw us throughout that day. And when we got back from the match, he was like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, what would I mess up? I thought the match went pretty good. He's like, you guys are wearing blue. No, Jeff, you need to figure out pink, because blue doesn't get you booze from these hillbillies. You know what will? Yep. You wearing pink and black.
Yep.
So at that point, Jeff started getting pink and black gear made for himself. I stuck with my pants for a while until we eventually get the version 2 of Zach,
which is you should start showing them legs. Oh
my God. So I loved my pants to death just because it had a great slap factor whenever I do a punch, because I throw my punches like The Rock, where obviously it's not that great of a punch, but I really love the slap sound or whatever. So I would slap my thigh and it made a great sound. But then one day, because, as all great ones do, you realize your thigh makes the same sound, dum-dum. So then I was like, well, I guess, I got pretty nice legs. I mean, they got some muscle tone to them. So maybe I'll get some shorts, because Jeff had his shorts made, and he wore they were legitimately shorts. And then for wrestling, then I got wind of shorts being sold at Dick's Sporting Goods. And I went to go check them out. I wanted to see what they look like. And let me tell you, fellas, and I mean this wholeheartedly, 100,000%. I went to the girls' volleyball section to look at the shorts. And let me tell you, I have so many pairs of volleyball shorts now because of how great they looked and fit my damn character. No lie. I have Las Vegas as shorts. Like on the shorts, it's Las Vegas. Like it's the billboards, the signs, the buildings, the hotel.
Oh, shit.
Like that's a legit short I have. And I found other ones. Like I have half pink, half black. There's one with like pink and red roses on them. I got all of these different kinds that just fit my character so damn well. I could not like believe the amount that I got. And I would buy Jeff them too. I'd be like, hey, I got you a pair of shorts. Don't worry, because he's knocking out shorts for like $150 to get made. And yes, they don't say A1 on them, but like we had a couple of matching trunks that made us look like big. Like that's the point of wrestling gear in as a whole. You need to make sure your character looks bigger than what the person buying a ticket is seeing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just because you get it from wherever or whatnot. Like I've had like fake fur coats handed down to me. Like I had this vest one, and because the worker who had it, he was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to use this gimmick anymore. Do you want it? And I'd be like, you're damn right I want it. So he give it to me. And like, but they don't know it was his, but it makes me look like, oh man, he must have spent some coin on that vest.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like, that is Zach. Like there's no other way to say it. That is Zach. Like, so like when you're making these choices, like what are you trying to portray Zach as? Like what are you hoping to accomplish with these gear choices?
Justin, a douchebag. No, but yeah, like that's ultimately what it is like I'm trying to find accessories and such, like the volleyball shorts. I mean, perfect. Like I'm wearing the volleyball shorts that have pink and black in them. I have socks that go up to my knees that are pink. I got wristbands from Hot Topic that were pink and black. Like Hot Topic saved me multiple times accessories because I also had a headband that was pink and black. I bought a few of those, and let me tell you, if you don't wash them, they're so stinky. Oh my God, they're so stinky. But like I would legitimately just try to find things that would make men look at me and obviously say some kind of derogatory slur to me. Because the hardest thing in wrestling, especially independent pro wrestling, is that if you go to work at a new town that no one's ever seen you, the hardest thing to do is to get a reaction out of them. Like I feel for anybody who's a good guy going into a town they've never worked before, because boy, oh boy, do they not give a crap about you.
When Jay Steele comes to mind.
Yeah. When Jay said, and you know what Jay Steele needed? Me, baby. Me.
You ain't kidding.
Because once I come out there with my high neon pink and my sunglasses that are too big for my face that I shouldn't be wearing, and whatever fur vest I'm wearing at the time, like that's when like the crowd will go, oh, F that guy. We're going for the guy that looks like Superman.
Yeah. It's insane that nobody ever got that, but I digress. Zach, we've had that conversation God knows how many times. But like again, like so what's funny is, so Zach as presented in Fusion Wrestling, especially like early on, very easy to hate because like you said, he's a douche. Like you want to hate him.
Right.
In SPW, however, he's coming up as North American champion. How do you make that switch? Like, because gear-wise, not much changed. Like, you had to change the character a little bit, but I don't think it changed that much either. Zach can be very lovable too.
Yeah, I think it's just the way that I portray myself. Like, if I'm coming out there and majority of the crowd are, being D-bags towards me, it's easy for me to be D-bags to them. You know what I mean? Where, like, when I was in SPW, and the former two-time North American heavyweight champion of the whole world. I don't know exactly when that switch happened. To be quite honest, weirdly enough, I don't think it works until the Sabbath versus Zak Hilton match.
Oh yeah.
Where that match, like, granted, I was face before, but like I was in a feud with Sean Denny, which almost it's the same kind of effect. It's like the fans didn't like the mean Englishman, so we're going to go after the kid who's, you know, he's energetic. I am fun at this point, but I don't think I was even face for that long when that went down.
No.
And so like it was almost like okay, so we're going to root for this guy. So when I have this match with Sabbath, because Sabbath never worked SPW at that point, like because Sean couldn't make the match, I got Sabbath to come in.
Whoever that
and I
guy
was
is.
like, what'd you say?
I said whoever that guy is.
Yeah, whoever Sabbath is. I don't know.
Some
Wonderful
Joe.
guy, wonderful guy. Spoiler alert, Stay Steel. So Sabbath is basically just a masked guy, and he's going to, like, I've gotten enough good guy heat during this, and we were going to have a street fight. So like that match of me getting my ace handed to me the entire time. And by the way, the only pink I wore during that match was my Team Zach shirt. So I was really in street fight mode. Like I was wearing jeans and stuff like that. Like, so I felt like that was me connecting more so to the people, because you need a people's champion. I'm the best people's champion SPW ever had.
Also true.
So I think because of that match, that's when everybody did start to gravitate towards me. And that's when, like, I think people could take in the goofy, silly fun of my side of my character.
Well, and about that time is when Zak Hilton starts becoming party man. And so like the difference being the A-lister Zak Hilton, while that moniker doesn't go away, like good guy Zak Hilton is more the party man, like you said, the fun-loving guy that you can let in, and you kind of just want to love the guy. I also want to point out there was a great commentary track to that street fight. I don't know what happened to it because it was not on the DVD. So
yeah, you know what sucks? A couple of things out of this. A, there was that track on there. Like they have it mixed in. We tried to, I even tried to message Brittany Cole for it. Yeah. I had Jay message her, and like she just like kayfabe, bro, and just like went away. I don't know if that's got anything to do with, you know, SPW as a whole and stuff like that, but like it was in something. I just don't know where it is. Oh. And I don't even know where my damn DVD is. Someone's got my DVD.
Oh God.
Yeah. Now I can only watch it on YouTube, where they like clip out like 3 minutes of it.
Those dicks.
Yeah. So hey, if anybody's seen an SPW, what was the
oh God, called? Was that Uprising?
Yeah, it was Uprising. Uprising 2.
Yeah, because
it was Uprising 2. I met you at Uprising 1. That's where we met.
Indeed. That is, and we were like, hey, you want to like do our show? And you're like, yeah. And then you were on the show.
And then I took over the show and didn't talk wrestling one bit.
It was fun. It was good times.
But again, that's when I was a bad guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was a big fan of, I got to be my character outside of it. I know we're on a tangent right now, but like, I love like that wrestlers can do their outside like stuff like up, down. Like I love seeing Cesaro and them and stuff like that. But in the same breath, it kind of kills you when you're like, you guys are supposed to be fighting.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to be playing Uno together having checkers.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that being said, that's just like the wrestling thinking of, that's the artist, if you will.
Well, it is weird that like, I don't know. It's hard to live the gimmick now because you have like 24-hour access basically to to
Anybody.
everybody.
Yep.
And it's like either you just don't use social media at all, which, Mox, Ambrose, he's been pretty successful with that. But even him now that Renee's not with WWE, like you're seeing more of him because he's showing up on her stuff. And so it's like he's starting to lose some of his mysteriousness. It's a weird time we live in, but so
it's a double-edged sword.
So Zak Hilton is a gear home run. What I'd like to ask you is, let's keep out of the indies because I feel like we can get very indie-rific with gear.
Okay. Kick pads.
Can you? God, there's so many of them. Can you think of anybody who was dead in the water because of their gear?
Like in professional wrestling.
Yes. They come out and they just don't
like
look the part.
WWE and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Let me see. I mean, it was dead in the water, and he really did have to rebrand himself, obviously. But Rocky Maivia was a crap show.
Yeah, it was that weird like vest thing that it
The
came
blue,
out in. Yeah,
that tassels and stuff.
Yep.
It did not work, and people
that
really wanted him
wasn't
dead.
Yeah, the die Rocky die chance.
I bet he loved those.
Oh yeah. So has
like the fact that see, that's why I miss the 90s, because we got signs that had literal death threats on them.
right? And
That's
Chance,
the attitude era, baby.
Right.
Chance filled the arena wishing death upon somebody,
Yeah.
and they weren't like, you know what? Maybe we should make a change to this guy.
Like now is like fight forever. 10 years ago is this is awesome. 10 years before that, die you scumbag. I don't like you.
And that was a good guy.
Right. And look at him now.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, look at him. He has great tequila. I'll tell you that.
I mean, so talking about Rocky, like he definitely his gear switch definitely just immediately once he drops the blue chipper and becomes The Rock, like that gear switch. I mean, it's character switch too, but the gear too. Like suddenly he looks like somebody you can take seriously. Is there anybody else that comes to mind when they make the switch in gear that goes, okay, now I'm with this guy?
I mean, what's wild is that, like, think of someone like Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Undertaker has a very simplistic, like, mortuary type look about him, but he was able to keep, like, changing it through the years that, like, made it interesting. Like, he went from that to, like, Satan, and then he went to that to, like, Biker Bar. Then he went back. And he was able to like keep kind of changing it, especially with entrance stuff like the robes, like all that kind of stuff was cool going through it. I think Chris Jericho did a cool job as well, like basic wrestling tights at first, even when he first got in WWE, WWF, whatever. And then when he cut his hair, he put on the shorts, like, that I thought that was cool that he was like, I need to like completely change myself to make this a thing.
Right.
Triple H did the same, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's weird because, like, thinking of Rocky, like, I'm trying to think in my head who has done that, who has done the, like, completely switch themselves. Like, the members of the Shield, like, they all had the vest and the stereotypical, like, riot gear kind of stuff, but I thought it was cool. Ambrose kind of went into like, I'm just a fighter gear. Seth was kind of cool with his, went to leather with colors and stuff. And Roman, one of my biggest problems from Roman for a long time was like, he stayed there. He stayed stuck in it, even with the theme song. Just a revamped version of it. Like, I don't watch too much now of WWE, but like seeing him recently coming out, like he doesn't wear the vest anymore. He has a different attitude. Like, it's simplistic, but boy, oh boy, did it change you to become Roman Reigns and not Shield Roman Reigns for the past 9 years.
Yeah. I'm thinking, so on NXT, there's a cat. As a matter of fact, I think he wrestled at one of the Fusion Wrestling events I went to, Swerve, Isaiah Scott.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Shane Strickland. I don't think that's his shoot name, but that was his name prior to WWE. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Cool.
and I think I saw him wrestle Phil Brown. It was one of the first times I came up to Fusion to see you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I actually weirdly remember him now. Yeah.
But he's wrestling as Swerve Scott, and he was wearing, like, I don't know. There was just, I love the character of Swerve. I love
Right.
all his mannerisms. I love his theme music. I love his entrance, like the way he presents himself, everything about it.
Mhm.
But his gear, like he was wearing basically the shorts that you used to wear. And
Oh,
that works for some people, right? It worked really well for you. It always looked weird on him. And he just
Yeah.
recently switched to, like, his tights now go just below the knees. And
oh, wow. Okay.
it's just a good look on him. And I'm like, now you have somebody, because he had
Yeah.
everything else, and now you have the gear there, and now suddenly you have a guy that you can, like, he's basically, they've been utilizing him in the cruiserweight division. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
No.
he has something bigger that you can get out of him. And a gear switch can do that for you sometimes. I think that's what you got with him. Sorry.
1000%. Like that, what looks good on you will affect your like performance or whatever. Like if something looks weird on your body, that's what people are going to focus about
Yep.
the entire time. Case in point, SummerSlam 2003
Uh-oh.
is the Elimination Chamber. And legitimately, I can tell you nothing about that match besides the fact that Triple H is wearing bicycle shorts.
Yep.
And it's legitimately the most off-putting thing that man's ever had on his body.
Mhm. Yep.
I remember
Like,
that.
And it doesn't stop there. And like he's big time at that point. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Batista did the same thing. Like he had a good look when he did his first run, like his real WWE look. And then when he came back and wrestled Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, like he was wearing a weird, like, I don't know, like MMA style short, and it just did not look good on him.
Mhm.
Now it's because gear, like we said with Zach, like, you know, I'm wearing pants, and yes, I look good as a professional wrestler, but once I switched to shorts, it almost made me look like a professional wrestler.
Yes.
Like it did, like I was the character originally was just this guy. Like the original story of Zach was, I'm bored and I just want to do something fun. My friend said, hey, look at this wrestling. And I said, ooh, let me try that. I have money. I can get into this. So it worked for that character. So when the character evolved into like, no, I want to win that title. I want the gold thing. Like I started taking it seriously. So the evolution of me getting into shorts, that's why I took wrestling more seriously. So I could get to that tag title, stance.
And so I guess looping it back to the tag title, since you just went there, you and Jeff, we mentioned, you match up and you match up in pink. And you mentioned also that Mofo's the one who said, no, you guys got to fucking wear pink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how important is it that you guys actually heed that advice, not just because he's the booker, man, but because you got to look like a team? How important is it for a team to wear matching gear?
It's super important. I mean, like in anything in like sports, like, I mean, Mofo taught me so much about that kind of stuff. Like, that's what I think is almost like a lost art in wrestling. Like, I feel like the New Day did it pretty damn good with like always staying with the light blues, the pinks and stuff like that. So they had a brand of color that you would always know them by. And yes, they would reach out and do special just like we would. Like my final match is predominantly black with some pink. Like my last the theme. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Never mind. But Mobro bleeds this shit.
Yeah, man.
Like, so much so, his colors were yellow and black. He's from Pittsburgh, so he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So he wanted his colors to be that, but that it didn't stop there. His damn car is a yellow Hummer or Jeep or something, like yellow and black Jeep. And then like his notebooks are yellow and black, and his shoes yellow and black. Like, he is a firm believer of they need to know you have a simple brand, because he never told me this, but my feeling is that if you come out to the ring and you are a certain color, like wearing that they know, like for me, pink and black, they may not remember I'm Zak Hilton on the second time they see me, but at least they have the colors to recognize me, being like, oh, nope, I like or hate that guy.
Right.
And then by the third time is when they're going to go, ooh, I like or hate this guy, because I know who I need to remember his name. And it's got to be a part of your thing. When you play Mortal Kombat, they don't have, like the original ones, they didn't have different colors. You only fought as one person. Like Johnny Cage had black and red. That was it.
Right.
And you can vary it like from time to time, but you always had a same look. And that's kind of like wrestling, like sports teams, like all that. Like you don't vary off if you're good at what you do. I mean, like Roman Reigns, he only wears black pants now. So you're not going to see Roman wear red. If he wears red, I'm going to fucking shit. But like, he's not going to stray, at least this version of his character, he's not going to stray away from his look for a very long time.
Absolutely. So on the topic of teams, I know you're an E&C guy, but they never really subscribed. Like, they had similar gear, but I don't think they ever subscribed to, like, we gotta look alike.
No, but I think that's because they had matching hair.
Yes, the hair was their uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
But is there anybody that comes to mind, like out of the gate, like this team like solidifies everything that a tag team should look like?
Well, I mean, obviously Legion of Doom's awesome because of like how theatrical their gear was, and that they matched it. Obviously, I said New Day, so I think big fans of them, but I will also give it up to other teams. And this is where, like, I felt like how A1, I mean, obviously I'm going to be fans of myself, but I felt like they did a good job of melding two worlds and fit. Breezango.
Yes.
Like, Tyler Breeze had his own look, Fandango had his own look, but they were able to mix it once they were the cops. So like, he's still wearing pants, but they're now cop formed. Tyler Breeze is wearing shorts now, but they're cop formed. And like, that's a weird one. Like, remember when Tyler Breeze wore like shorts for a week?
Yeah, that
like,
yes.
Right. But then he went back to his bell bottoms with the fur at the bottom. And like, I just think there's times that you can stray away as long as you guys have a matching kind of deal. You know what I mean? I love the fact that sometimes you don't do it. Rock and sock connection.
Oh yeah.
Like they were completely polar opposites, but boy, he wanted him to wear that fucking jacket.
Yeah.
And like, that's all you would needed him to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, to a way, way, way lesser extent, obviously. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are doing that currently. And I got to give some props to Liv is my girl, but the Riot Squad, man, like, now that they're back, they're rocking matching gear now. So like, it's like they didn't leave their identities. They just combined them and made it into a team thing, just to kind of further your point.
Right.
Now let's go the other way. Like, let's think of teams that got put together and it's just like, what the fuck? and then they put gear on and it's like, oh God, why?
Right. I mean, it's hard because there are teams that, like, I feel bad for Cesaro because like Cesaro makes everything work. Like
Always.
you put him with anybody, he works. But I feel like the only time he's been paired with someone that is Sheamus, because then they did start doing matching gear stuff. But outside of that, like I love Nakamura. You know I love Nakamura. But like I'm done watching them come out together because like they don't match. They're put together, and it's mostly, to me, I think it's WWE's fault because they don't know what they want to do with either guy. So it's like, ooh, place them. But that's the hardest part about any tag team put together, just because you have nothing to do with them. And that's so if you guys put your whole heart into it, it'll work. That's what happened with me and Jeff, is that like we're two guys that we have nothing to do, so let's put them in a thing. And then when they got put into that thing, skyrocket. Sorry, I keep cussing. I'm excited. But you're talking about a team that wasn't supposed to be together and or do anything, and we like headlined their biggest show within a year.
Yeah.
And then we headline probably, in my opinion, the biggest show Fusion ever had with the Iron Man match.
Yeah, man.
So I just like thinking of teams that aren't supposed to be together. The hardest part about that is like they don't last long. They're forgettable. So I can't like here you go. Xavier Woods and R-Truth.
Oh God.
like I don't mean to be like mean about this, but Vince, just because they're black don't mean you just gotta like tag them.
I know, and
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That whole thing, because doesn't he come up initially with Brodus? And then
who? No, he didn't even come up with Brodus. He just took his theme.
That's right.
He just takes his theme song because Xavier Woods, another guy that they were like, we had nothing to do with you, so just put him with this guy.
Yep.
Oh, we don't have nothing to do, put him with this guy. And then finally Xavier Woods was like, hey, I got an idea for a thing. Kofi, you're not doing much. You want to do it? Big E, you want to do it? Cool, let's talk. And then they like almost murdered them out of the gate.
I know,
making them preacher guys.
Yep.
So like, but then they were able to create what New Day was, and look how long they lasted. Look how
6
good
years.
they were.
Yeah. And not to kind of Barry Horowitz here, but we do that occasionally. Remember on YWS when New Day first came around, and
yes,
both you and I were the only ones on the program going, I like this. I think this has a very bright future. I mean, I'm not saying we were 100% right, but I don't know. Look how it shook out.
I mean, it kind of worked out in their favor, in my opinion. But I think that goes because, like, granted, they were given like a gimmick that wasn't working, but I think you and I did see like, oh no, they're giving their all to this, which if you do that, this will lead down a road profitable for you.
Yeah. People buy into that, and it was clear from the beginning that they wanted to be a team. They wanted to look like a team to kind of rope gear back in. They wanted to look like a team. They wanted to be a team. They wanted to be presented as a team, as a unit. And you and I bought in immediately. And like you said, it's because they wanted to go hard and make it happen, and they did. So kudos to them. So usually we like to kind of like go around. I don't know how much sports you're watching these days. I know you're a Steelers fan, but like, was that kind of like in passing or?
No, honestly, I became a Steelers fan because that's what the team name was when I was in Little League.
Okay.
So like once I got done playing, I was like, oh, there's a real Steelers team? I'll be a fan of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, all my sports favorites are pretty much like that. Like, the reason why I was a Lakers fan is because Kobe Bryant was on my N64 basketball game cover. So I was like, I like this guy. He's a cover guy.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, Lakers have some of the best gear in basketball. I hate them. I hate them with a passion, but like they have some of the best gear in basketball, hands down.
Honestly, if I could do another thing, it would be gold and purple. I think gold and purple would look pretty as wrestling gear.
So on that note, though, like you and I have had conversations over the past couple years. I know like the way it was going to happen was supposed to be Zak Hilton versus Jay Steele one more time. And just so everybody knows, we do have a contingency plan to make Jay Steele versus Zak Hilton happen one more time in a very different way than you're thinking. It's COVID kind of put it on hold.
Yeah. Really threw us for the loop there.
Because that was literally supposed to happen the weekend right after COVID was like, yeah, everybody's got to like stay the fuck home.
It was like the last week of March.
Yep.
That we were going to do something.
We were going to do that. So like that's got put on pause, but we do have a contingency plan. But at this point, you're a good couple years removed from it. I mean, obviously you have a great mind for wrestling. And even now you're thinking about gear that you could put Zak Hilton back in. Like, is that chapter in your life closed? Because I feel like Brooke may have kind of given you like kind of a green light.
She gave me a green light back then. But you got to think like, I think when that was supposed to go down was what, 2 years ago?
Oh, geez.
3 years ago?
Wow,
I forget. Whenever we went to that Fusion show to talk to Mobro about it, and like it was all good, and then Joey got scared because Jay Steele's a little bit, but
we love you, Joe. Oh yeah, he will. Yep, we love you, Joe.
But I think I love wrestling, I really do, and the only reason why I would like to wrestle Jay one last time is because Jay Steele didn't get to finish his wrestling career like how I did. I got to say goodbye. Like I got to go in the ring, have one last match, which I'm really proud of. And like, it's definitely one of those never say never things. I think I'm physically though, I'm out of it. Like I can't bend down without breaking my back.
Jesus.
And like I'm still, I'm still active. I'm running, and like I've noticed running is harder and stuff like that. So really it would take like Jay to be like, I really want this. I want to do this. Like he has to be committed to it, because outside of wrestling, I have a very wildly successful podcast, Hunter's Pod. I have a movie you can watch on Amazon right now, which I'm writing not only the prequel to it, but a full-length sequel to it. I have other acting gigs that I can do. Like, it's just, as much as I love being Zak Hilton, the pro wrestler, which there's not a day that goes by, and this is honest to God, that I don't think about, ooh, this match would be cool. Ooh, wearing this would be cool. This entrance music would be rad. Like that happens to me constantly. And I feel like because I have those thoughts, there's obviously a never say never in there. But I think because I have those thoughts, I'm able to control it. I'm able to say, no, you have this. No, you're making it with that. Like I'm still creatively progressing. If I didn't have the podcast or writing movies and such like that, I do think I would be immediately like, let's go do this. Like, perfect example, the contingency plan that you're talking about, that made me so happy, because it does, like, I like comedy. I mean, I put comedy in everything in wrestling. Like, Zach to the Future was my name for the finisher, and like I always had movie references and stuff like that. So like the outlet you wanted to go down, I could still do all the things I love doing in wrestling, like montage videos. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the fact that I would be able to make a montage video about what we were going to do excited me. It was just another avenue Zach could go down that didn't make me kill my back.
I was gonna say, like, when that sees the light of day, it'll make sense, and it makes perfect sense that that's where Zach would be.
Right, exactly. Just how Zach began his wrestling career, that's exactly what would happen going down that path.
I can't wait. Eventually, it'll see the light of day. And speaking of ideas that will eventually see the light of day, I feel like we talk about this a lot, but we are in the season for it. So we got to get out to Crawford Road.
Oh,
dude. I brought it up to Jay. I was like, we need to go. I want to Instagram it. I want to record it. I want to do the whole get, because it's hard for me to do it during this time because my weekends are legitimately booked with just haunts and stuff like that. But like with November, the first things I was thinking, I was like, oh, I gotta go to a ghost store and I gotta get to Crawford.
We have to. It's that experience is one of the most
wild.
And I think when we tell that story, people don't believe us. And it's just like, I wish we could have documented it better.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Everybody I feel like lives around here has a Crawford Road story. Like as soon as you said that, I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It is freaky. And I'm telling you this right now, I'm bringing Brooke.
She'll love it.
She's going to love it because I think she's listened to it, but being married, she's tuned me out, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I don't think she realizes what kind of happened that night.
Yeah, I know.
So like going into it, not like saying a word. Oh man, she freaked out.
Can't freaking wait. Well, look, I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up as well. I get to call a lot of Zak Hilton matches, and not only your last match, but I got to call one of the most unique matches that I think was well ahead of its time, the Freaky Friday match. Can you imagine that now? Like,
what's wild? You know what? Now you're getting Zach shooting, baby. Let me tell you, I feel like viewer-wise, people got it.
Yeah.
I think you got it. I think the audience that were in tune for it, like, understood what went down. I think there were a bunch of workers that didn't understand it. And one person said, do not air that. Do not, like, Mofo never gave me the footage of that match. So much so, like, I begged him for just giving me the raw footage, like, because he had, like, cameras set up here, there, anywhere. So, like, I was just like, give me one angle. I don't need the edited version. And then he told me, he was like, I was told to delete it. And I don't think I've been more heartbroken about anything, because if you actually understood, like, at that time in Fusion, like, Aiden Chambers' career and my career and his friendship to me, and that's with wrestling, like, a story and wrestling behind the scenes, like, what happened in that match, like, I'm so sad. I don't care if it sucked. I don't care if it isn't pretty. I don't care whatever you guys think out there. That match was for me.
Yeah.
And like I just said a couple of minutes ago, I am very much a homage to movies and a lot of things I do. I mean, a lot of my entrance gears, I mean, hey, this is gears. A lot of my entrance gear I did theme towards, like, Marvel movies. Like, I came out in a Spider-Man hoodie, like a zip-up hoodie all through my face. During the Iron Man match, I came out in a Iron Man zip-up hoodie. And, like, I legitimately added, or I came out as a Ghostbuster before somebody wanted to do a video about being a Ghostbuster. When we were in a ladder match, I called it the Danger Zone. So we came out to the Top Gun theme, and we were wearing black flight suits with A1 on the back of them and stuff like I themed towards all those things. So when the Freaky Friday match happened, which I don't mind spoiling right now, but what happened is that me and Aiden Chambers had a match. We were friends, but we were going to wrestle. And what we were doing that night was we were just going to reenact Bane versus Batman from The Dark Knight Rises. So I came out as Bane, he came out as Batman, and we're doing it for a little bit, but then like one of us hits the other a little too hard, and then we're starting to get like mad at each other and stuff like that. And then like we just let it out. He tells me why he thinks my life is so great. I tell him why he thinks why I think his life is so great. And then at the same time, we said, I just want to be you for just one day. And then the lights go out. This video plays of all the like Freaky Friday, Vice Versa, all these movies that have body switching. And then Zak Hilton is now in Aiden Chambers' body while Aiden's in Zak Hilton's body. I will say this. The one thing about that match I regret is that I'm the bad guy in it. So I get no offense the complete match. Like Zak Hilton has my body has no offense in the entirety. Like I get beat up when the good guy's winning, I get beat up when the bad guy's winning, and then I just lose. So and then we switch bodies again. And like honest to God, like I said, it could be the worst match that's ever been filmed, and it would never bother me because like, hey, I got to do it. Like the fact that Mobro was like, you know what? You're a crazy bastard, and I love that about you. But like, yes, I love the fact that there are people that don't get it. If you don't get it, then it befuddles me because like, if you looked at that wouldn't make sense because all I would say back to you, yeah, neither does running off the ropes and letting someone hit you.
Yeah, right.
That's all I'm going to say.
Just a few thoughts on that.
Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
Oh no, absolutely. But just a few things on that. Like number one, where wrestling kind of is currently with the cinematic style, like that would like crush right now. That would do numbers. But
right.
That's completely sidestep. Calling that match was a blast because Sean's trying to do it like straight down the middle, and like he's playing. Well, what's going on here? What's going on here? And like I'm sarcastic. You called me Chevy Chase, and so like I'm just like they switch bodies, man. They switch bodies, and eventually they switch bodies. Sean, what don't you get?
Yeah, you're getting upset because you're following along the story.
It's just oh god, I can't believe that didn't see the light of day.
Like obviously they're supernatural, Sean.
Like, what don't you get?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of gold. You put that commentary to that. And like you said, like today's world between the Matt Hardy stuff and like, we literally have a match of John Cena just going through his careers of what ifs. And it's my favorite match I've seen this year.
You know
what I mean? Like that's happened in like this thing went down. I just think I had a different mind for things. And big thank you to Aiden Chambers because like he was nearing the end. The reason why the match was able to be what it was going to be is because he was retiring. I want to say like the next show after that. Yeah. So like I just pitched to him. I was like, hey, I want to wrestle you before you retire. We already have faced each other in Iron Man. We've faced each other in a cage. We've done all these things. Can we have fun? Because our next match was a TLC match, his last final match. And so I was like, can we just have fun and do something like bonkers? And he was into it. So like, it's just weird that like something like that was so offensive to a world that praised Mr. Zackos and like reading story time Christmas tales before their matches and stuff like that. Like it's just weird that like that was the goddamn line.
I know, right? And it would have done numbers, but that's aside from the fact.
I'm gonna message him. I'm gonna message Mobro.
I mean, I hope he still has the commentary.
My birthday's coming up. Can I get that video yet?
I know he's got he had the audio. God knows where it is now. I don't, because that was like 4 computers ago. But so where can people find you nowadays, Zach?
You can find me on Twitter at Hunters Pod, Hunters Pod on Instagram, Hunters Podcast on Facebook. And yeah, we do a show weekly every Wednesday about haunts and horror and stuff like that. I know the season's winding down, but we are 365 up in this mug where you'll get your spooky on if you wanted to listen to it. And plus, I have a movie on Amazon Prime. It's called Killer Reunion, Bro. Please go check that out. And yeah, good times.
Brother, thank you so much for doing the program with us.
No, thank you, man. Like, this was a rad time. I'm sorry Corey didn't get to speak a lot.
It's all good. I was honestly, I enjoyed learning, and I don't mean to sound like a douchebag, but because I didn't know a ton about your career coming in, man. So that's why I stayed quiet for most of it, because I was enjoying it, and I mean that.
Oh, I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, no, I mean, like, if anybody has never heard about me and just wants to see something, just go to YouTube, type in Zak Hilton, Z-A-K Hilton, and there's a few things up there. Is the video program Vimeo?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you can look up Fusion Wrestling up there, and I'm in like 100 videos of those. The Fusion career is up there. But if you're interested, this Wednesday, our Patreon listeners, Hunters Podcast, we're going to do a live watch along to NXT Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
And I'll just go ahead and put this out here too. Our Patreon members, for just $1 for this. On my birthday, December 10th, I'm doing a watch along to Killer Reunion, Bro, and 2 of my wrestling matches.
Ooh.
So I will give insight of some of those. So if anybody's interested, just go to our Patreon, Hunters Podcast, and enjoy.
Well, I hope you have a great evening. Tell Brooke I said hello.
I will.
And I can't wait till we drag her out to Crawford Road, because that's going to be a blast.
It's coming soon, baby.
All right, brother.
I'll see you in November.
Yes, it's happening in November. All right, brother. I love you.
All right, boys. I love you too, Justin.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Zach.
Later.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zak Hilton, what a dude. What a dude. You have got to check out Hunters Pod. It's a lot of fun. See if you can't dig out I'll see if I can dig out like specific matches to forward.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of those matches, like he said, if you go to Vimeo and watch Fusion Wrestling,
right, will
be called by me.
Okay, and see, that was another little nugget I learned. I learned a lot there. Like, I was a student, and that's why I was quiet a lot. Like, I knew Zach, as a listener to Deprogrammed What You Do, I knew he was on the wrestling-themed one. And that episode was hilarious. I mean, I enjoy every episode, but that one I laughed out loud a lot. And a lot of it was just because Zach's laugh is
infectious.
Oh, that's exact word I was thinking of, man. His laugh, I don't give a shit what's happening in your life. You could hear him laugh and go, okay, you know what, I'm good. And so it was interesting to learn a lot about his career and what went into the decisions of the gear and everything else and kind of what he went through. And I also dig, Hunters Pod. I'm a horror guy. Love that shit. Mm-hmm. And as soon as Crawford Road came up, I was like, oh, my God. Because everybody around here in the 757.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you did. That's what you did,
especially this side of the water.
Yes.
You had to make it up there at least once.
At least once a year, dude. There was a couple times back in the day where me and my buddies would, like, there were a lot of cruises up there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Like an absurd amount. And then there was like a couple year gap. And I was up there. I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? Because it's dark out, drive by Crawford Road. And it did not look the same as I remembered. And I was depressed.
Yeah, they definitely like changed the road. Like
development, dude.
Yeah, and it sucks.
It's like, oh, people live here now?
Yeah.
They're not supposed to. At least not actual people.
Yeah.
But get them out of here.
But you go down the road and the V part is still intact.
There. It's still there.
So, before we get out of here, I guess at this point, it would have been last week's program.
Yep.
We talked about the Vegas Knights.
Yes.
They are the Vegas Knights now.
That is what we are calling them. That is what you should call them too.
How about us?
Dude.
Like freaking nailing it. Now,
third alternates?
The episode comes out 2 weeks too late.
Right.
But I assure you, we recorded it literally the day before they announced the new thirds.
Yeah. And I believe it was Joe posted it in the Discord. And as soon as we saw it, it was like, yo, everything we discussed on last week's episode, from the, hey, instead of the golds, why don't you try the red? You know, normally an accent color, give it that. Put the shoulder patch on the front of the jersey because it's not a Create a logo. It'll look better. Just everything about it, dude. It looked awesome. And then when he posted in the Discord yesterday, which you should hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Gear Freaks Pod, ask for the link. We will get you in the Discord. You can join everything. It's a blast. And keep along with us so that you can see instances like this and realize that we are not full of crap, because we're not. It is awesome looking. So Justin's scrolling up now.
Oh God,
past some awful Atlanta Thrashers gear that was in the Discord. Good God, there's some trash in here, but it's so great. Okay, there they are. So you've got the red is the primary color. That is so great, man.
That is really good looking.
I'd rock one of those, man.
Yeah.
You've got the gunmetal, the gold, and the black on the sleeves and the tail stripe. The V thing, whatever you want to call that logo 12 on EA Sports NHL is now on the shoulder, and you've got the cross swords and the whatever the thing is on the chest. It looks damn good.
It does. And they managed to keep everything intact so you still know it's Vegas.
Yes.
And without abandoning and going curtain.
Right.
So
they don't look like wallpaper anymore.
Good Lord. I just thought that was insane. He posted that and I looked at it. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah, dude. The very next day, and it was like, oh my God, we just discussed this. This is why you need to join the Discord, people.
Prognosticators we are.
Yes, exactly.
I can say it now.
Right. Some sports team hire us to come up with your gear.
Maybe Winnipeg.
Right. The damn Blue Bombers. So we can get rid of that, gold. All that gold.
We mentioned this off air. We have to bring it to air. You're going to reach out to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yes.
If you listen to this program, reach out to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Let's smoke them out.
We need to talk to them on this show.
Yeah.
And either they need to convince us that we're wrong.
Right.
Or they need to make changes.
Number two, because they're not going to, the first one's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not, no, because we could give them alone about 10 more ideas that are better than the crap they came up with.
Yeah.
But that's the goal. If you listen to this, hit up, I don't know the Winnipeg Blue Bombers handle offhand on Instagram. We follow them, so you can go into the Gear Freaks Pod followers, because I'm going to harass the hell out of them. Or you could just search Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's probably the easiest way to do it. I don't know why I didn't go there first, but whatever. Find them, harass them, but not like in an offensive way.
Yeah.
But let's smoke them out, because we want to get somebody that was responsible for that crap on here so we can Jack Bauer interrogate him
and be like, look, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Can we make suggestions?
Right.
Can you not be crap, because we want to love you?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're over here having an affair with the Stampeders, and where were you on the night of the 16th?
Yeah.
We're trying to commit here. We want to put a ring on it, but you're not,
You're not carrying your end of the deal here at all.
Right.
Like, you're not working at all on this.
You have no interest, and we're over here begging, hey, friend zone, I don't want to be in this anymore. Can we, and you're just still out there with the gold, parading it around and posting it all over social media. Not fair. Not nice, Winnipeg, and we want to talk to you.
And until that happens, we will be coming for you.
Hard.
You will not hear the end of it.
Nope.
From the Gear Freaks, I assure you.
Every episode until we get answers. Good ones, too. Not whoever we get when it happens. I don't want it to be some PR douche.
No.
I want a human being. Let's have a conversation.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
You're Canadian. Let's do this.
Right. You're supposed to be nice. We won't be too hostile.
We won't be mean. We're going to lay down the truth of your garbage gear.
Right. Why is there so much gold in the Blue Bombers? Why? There is more gold than blue.
Oh.
For the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Unreal and completely wrong. But with that, interrogation begins starting next week.
Game on. Suckers!